So you're in London and the others are in Iceland?
Me and Alice are in the house together in southeast London, and Raquel's in Reykjavik.
So how's life? How's lockdown life?
I mean, it's a tremendously unsettling time, and like especially with, getting the updates from Prime Minister last night, like that's very strange, and very unclear and very, but in terms of like day-to-day life, it's pretty nice in the house. Like we're kind of in this routine of having house meals every night, and I've been working on the garden a lot. There's like a nice bit of woodland nearby. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, trying to make the most of the agency that we do have. But
well, I mean, it's good to hear that things aren't so bad for you. They sound quite positive, which is good. But it's obviously extremely frustrating, obviously, as a band that likes to play live. What can I say? I don't know. You've obviously talked about that and thought about that a lot. Are there any alternative plans, like more social media, live, something or other, or any ideas that circulating around? Or
I mean, obviously, as a band who have essentially built our career off playing live shows. Like we've always kind of centered that as part of the experience of being in a band, and centering the importance of the kind of coming together of people in a physical space. And 2020, I think in all of our minds we were going to be touring constantly. That's what this time was going to be all about. So it's been a very kind of fast change of pace and perspective. I think, the kind of mental journey and accepting that that's not going to be the way things are panning out is a difficult thing. We're kind of working on some ideas for some sort of live performances, kind of semi-live, like kind of layering different people's parts in the coming weeks. I think we're kind of hoping to do a sort of tour around and that the tour was in quotation marks there, around the album release. But I think it's very much kind of trying to figure out different ways of doing things. A band that's like a rock band that is about that kind of full experience. It's very hard to do the kind of stripped back things that I feel like are appropriate for this time. But also I think at times of kind of isolation and dislocation, it's often music is a tool for kind of bringing people together and not feeling alone. So I guess it's hoping to find ways to do things differently and to work with this situation. Like I really do think that limitations can be really interesting in breeding creativity. So like everyone's got to be really creative with how they go about these things. Times of adversity, people really need music.
Well, the album's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's really, really great. Lots of great songs, quite eclectic, quite varied. It's just got a lot of energy.
I don't know. I mean, it's always the thing with bands. You spend the moment from when you started to doing it, kind of creating this body of work. So it kind of, the first album, those songs were kind of written over a much longer period of time, and were actually kind of largely written during shows, like we'd have an idea, we'd try something out, and we'd kind of workshop it in this kind of live environment. But at the start of last year, when we kind of finished the debut album touring, we kind of sat down and kind of did all these little kind of trips away to write songs, and it was much more focused and much more kind of getting into a zone and kind of really working through something and digging into it. And I think doing the first album, we understood stuff about pre-production. So we would really work on pre-production, just in the group, kind of talking about structure and sounds and all kinds of things. And then in the studio, it was with the first album, we recorded everything in the space of a week on tape, while we also had a bunch of live shows. So it was incredibly long days, incredibly busy, very difficult. And with the second album, to be able to spend the time to really make sure something's right, and to not, with the tape, it was you'd kind of practice something 20 times and your hands would be swollen, and but we worked with the producer Marta Solongi, who is really the most incredible person, so intuitive, so technically proficient, and so humorous and emotionally engaged in everything that we were trying to do. and working with someone in such a kind of dynamic and creative way that was also like, you know, like pushing you just to the point where you were in the zone, you know, like not pushing you too hard, not pushing you, but like, yeah, helping you find a place where everything's as natural and comfortable as it can be.
So I noticed in the information given to me that the album was produced. It says here produced entirely by a non-male team of Marta, Grace Banks, engineer.
Yeah, Grace was the engineer, and Heba Kadri on the mastering.
Was that a purposeful decision? Was that something that you were looking to do, or striving to do, or was it just kind of happened that way?
A natural way. Like Marta definitely felt like kind of unquestionably the right person to work with, but it also felt really important to support women in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, there are like still kind of crazy statistics that like less than 5% of albums produced last year were produced by women, and it's just shocking that that's still the case. And so yeah, I think to work with women that are kind of powerful and acclaimed in their field, it's good for everyone.
Yeah. Tell me about Sports.
Sports is a really fun song, really high energy. We wrote that at my parents' house actually, and all of my siblings are kind of, I'm going to talk about my family for this.
Yeah.
All of my siblings are like massively sporty. Like 2 of them have played international rugby, 1 of them's a black belt in karate, and then I'm just over here as this like kind of arty weirdo. And I think sports, we were kind of in that environment, surrounded by all of their things, and it's kind of acknowledging the kind of the silliness of sports and the kind of ridiculousness of it, while also kind of drawing parallels between that and other things, and kind of expanding the idea of what sports can be and where you can kind of get those things that you get from sports, that you can find those things in other places, that you don't have to be playing team sports. Also, sports are great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just a really like physical, silly track.